All right, we move on to speaking of cinema, our final pick, and that is My Spy: The Eternal City. I did not see this one.
Yeah.
Zach, tell me why you did.
Well, the first My Spy was the last movie I was paid to write a review about before the COVID pandemic happened. So it has a very particular place in my memory. I don't know if it's a particularly warm place in my memory, but it's there. And, this is
And
a
now you're
classic.
paying to review the sequel with your time and energy.
Exactly. I have to get back at it somehow. I don't know. This is a particular brand of movie that I think we're very used to seeing, in that it's big tough guy with cute little child. We've had, the Dwayne Johnson version of it in movies like the Tooth Fairy was his, yeah. We've had the Vin Diesel version of it in movies like The Pacifier. There's probably a John Cena one out there that I'm struggling to remember, and I'm sure we're going to get a Travis Kelce one in the next 2 years. But, the last My Spy movie was, not exactly the most innovative or memorable film. It's a pretty by-the-numbers family comedy where Dave Bautista gets close to this family that he's guarding because he's a CIA agent, and now in the sequel he's basically the stepfather for this precocious child, and they're off on an adventure. Her class gets sent on a field trip to Italy so they can continue the shenanigans against an entirely different background. I think the story with a lot of movies like this. It's got a pretty boring, predictable plot, and the plot is at least half the movie. So, just watching the mechanics of that playing out is tiring and a bit tedious. But I think there are moments here where it actually is like a little bit charming as a family comedy. I think Bautista, as we know, is a pretty gifted comedic actor when the material calls for it. And there's not a lot of great material for him to work with here, but there are moments where, he'll make you laugh. There's this running bit where he keeps accidentally stepping on different sellers' merchandise that's laid out on the floor and having to pay for it. There's just a couple bits here that worked. I think a lot of movies like this, there's like a moment where the kid asks to do something that's a little bit above their maturity level, and the father figure has to like entrust them to do it. And this movie has that exact moment and then plays it the reverse way that you're expecting. So there's a couple solid jokes in there. I would say it's not the majority of them. There are worse things that you can watch on streaming, but there's a lot of better things too. I definitely would not recommend this one unless you're like just trying to find something that's going to be appropriate for a wide range of people. Even then, most of them probably won't love it that much. So I'm landing at a 2-star on My Spy: The Eternal City, which, granted, is maybe a little bit better than I anticipated it being, but not much.
You got it equal to Maxine?
I do. I was probably as frustrated with the ending of Maxine as I was with the plot of My Spy: The Eternal City.
We're never getting the Ty West interview. My Spy: The Eternal City, all on Amazon Prime.
There we go.
I'll make sure to do a double feature once the Maxine VOD pops. But that is it for the movies of this week. We are getting down to the final weeks in like the summer where we're getting like big drops, but not that much outside of it. Like this next week is just gonna be Deadpool. This week I feel like it was mainly Twisters. Everything else are just these little releases. But come the fall, we are going to get a slew of movies coming up.